Oh man.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are in for a journey.
A treat if you.
We are on fanfiction.net, and I've just pulled up Johnny's Lust, written by Creeply.
I hope everyone
Let's read
realizes
the
I'm
summary.
spoiling my new cartoon right now.
Good.
Whoops.
Let's read the summary. The local stud and all-around awesome guy, Johnny Test, is about to complete his biggest, and not to say boldest, conquest to date. His own mother!
Oh,
no!
Hot and heavy piece. Sorry that there is not a lot about the twins. Just MILF action. Oh yeah, we're in for a good one, guys.
Didn't Zone make something with the twins?
Read and review. Haven't written a straight smut for a while, or at least a good one. No real plot in this or really any background. Oh, we know we're gonna get into the action real quick. Just assume that everything is like this because Johnny Test is sort of a trash human being. And this is why it's so easy to write him doing trash things.
Hey guys, do me a favor and open my stream. Just so I get watch time.
Let us begin. Let me mute the stream. Johnny Test, 18-year-old self-proclaimed superstar,
18,
was eager as a kid on Christmas morning. Mostly because this was pretty much his Christmas morning. He had been waiting for it excitedly, and in his mind patiently, only annoying his older super scientist sisters a dozen times in the past 10 hours. Only. He had been so excited that he had not slept for 10 hours, except for naps. Well, he's been annoying his sisters for the past 10 hours. How is he... Whatever. And
look, this man just knows how to manage his time, okay?
I don't.
And had not even made lunch for anyone. What a dick.
Oh, don't worry,
He
Alex.
had
There'll
to
be
order
plenty of
out
dick.
a pizza. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for it. Which is what he did while playing video games.
Uh oh, the pizza guy's gonna cuck him.
Good intel to have. So let's just say that he was at his peak level of excitement when he headed down the hall to his sister's wing of the house. Where's the MILF action? As they had grown older, the three children had slowly but steadily grown more and more independent. And more and... Oh, they started that sentence with and more demanding of their parents. Huh? In this way, they had slowly gained control of an entire section of the house. This gave them much more independence and time alone. This brought the three of them closer together, and even more secretive towards their parents than before. He started another sentence with and.
Disgusting.
Sometimes weeks would go by without either their mother or father haven't seen them. Huh? Of course, after what Johnny did 6 weeks ago changed everything. The entire dynamic of the house shifted, and now everyone was entirely different for it.
Fortnite ago.
Yeah.
Fortnite? That's popular.
Some might
Good, I can
argue
put that in the
that
tags now.
You think that Johnny Test Erotica is not gonna get you all the fucking views?
No.
Some might argue that it was for the worse. Who wouldn't? Johnny obviously thought that it was for the better, and the other four members of his house did not have anything to say about it anymore, except to agree with Johnny. They had no choice.
What,
The old voice of... Go ahead.
No. Had no choice to agree with him. I don't know. Beat your fucking kids early. Remember that.
The old voice of reason in the house, Dookie, was no longer with them. Wow, the best character's gone.
Oh no, he's dead.
The poor thing had chased his expensive coffee maker on legs out into traffic.
Good.
Why anyone would make a coffee maker with legs was anyone's guess. Some would argue that Johnny just got tired of his best friend being a dog and wanted to move on. But that would be a bit too dark and selfish, even for Johnny Test, the flaming-headed boy. Right? Johnny got to the red hallway. The kids' wing of the house was much larger than the rest of the house. Mary and Susan had claimed that it was due to some sort of time-space twisting so that more room could be fitted into a smaller place and give them more room to work. He really didn't get it. He more or less thought that it was what his sisters did was magic. He never really chose to question it. It just meant that he could do more cool stuff and not really have to think about it. He paused and licked his palms before running them through his hair. Excellent.
Oh,
Just because he was going to be living through his greatest and wildest dreams didn't mean that he couldn't look really awesome while doing it. He paused at a mirror and shot himself a pair of finger pistols.
Gross.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. He looked good. Any girl would be lucky to have him as a boyfriend.
Or a son.
Girl would be lucky to have him as a boyfriend. This is about... Hell, any girl would be lucky to even know him as a friend. Rip. He tried not to think about how he didn't actually hang out with anyone besides his own immediate family. That was just because everyone else was delusional except for him. Oh god. Oh. This is some neat stuff right here.
This is turning dark quick.
He was the best. Johnny continued down the hallway before tripping over his father. His dad looked up at him with wide, scared eyes, knowing that he had done something wrong. What?
Beat your kids early and beat your kids often.
What is this world? Johnny just smirked downwards at his smaller father. Johnny had gotten taller and larger ever since he turned 18. It was almost as if someone had done something scientifically aimed to his own body to make him bigger and better. But that would be science fiction, right? Morning, Hugh, Johnny said with a smirk as he smirked down at the broken man.
Hugh? That's his dad's name?
Oh man.
That's Jimmy Neutron's dad's name.
Oh man, I know the next fanfic. Hugh X Hugh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, Johnny, Hugh said, looking down. He was wearing...
What the if?
Hugh said, looking down. Did he trip up the stairs? Good morning, Johnny, Hugh said, looking down. He was wearing his old clothing, puke green sweater, brown slacks, and a white shirt, all in tatters. Why? He had not changed them for a few months. Why? No one had told him to do so.
His life's in shambles, Alex. His son's cucking him.
No one had told him to do so. Huh? Does this man need to be told to change his clothes? After he lost his job, he only had the house to take care of, and mostly robot helpers had done so. He was becoming more and more obsolete, and he knew it.
Uh-oh.
Johnny could have asked the twins to do something so that he was not so dreary, but it was sort of fun, educational, like watching a jack-o'-lantern slowly fall apart after Halloween. Johnny had not cleared the old Halloween decorations from the front porch yet. Where's the MILF action?
Sure, it's got incest. Of course it's disturbing.
No. This is a different type of disturbing. I was bracing for one, not the other.
I was bracing for straight up smut, not this dark shit. This attempted dark shit.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious.
Not this look
edgelord shit.
Condition.
He should program something to do it for him. He might have the muscles of a bodybuilder and the face of a movie star, but that didn't mean he wanted to go all... wanted to go all of the work of basic house care. Johnny shot back up. His mind was already on another thing. He wanted to see what his older sisters had done. He stepped over Hugh and, accidentally, slapped the back of the man's knees. Johnny turned the final corner and passed the 3 statues of their enemies frozen in stone. Bling Bling Boy, forgot about him,
no.
Mr. Black, and of course Mr. White. The statues were pretty grim to look at.
Mr. Black's the white one and Mr. White's the black one, right?
Yeah.
That's messed up.
After all, it was not pleasant to turn into statues, but they had to do it. And he started another sentence. And Susan and Mary had assured him that there was absolutely no way to turn them back. He probably felt a little guilty about that. He feels guilty about that, but he doesn't feel guilty about bullying his father.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's Johnny Test. After all 3 of them had been friends with the Test kids for years, but they were also very annoying and tended to overreact to every little thing that the kids did. They would definitely not understand why Johnny, Susan, and Mary did what they did. It was for the best, and the best did not always mean the best for everyone. They were making the world a better place, just not necessarily the entire world, just specifically their world. Johnny's smirk went to a magical grin when he saw the final door to the right, just where the girls had told him to meet them. Mary had her long, red, curly locks loose over her back. She had left her glasses off.
Oh boy.
She said that she preferred
glasses are hotter though.
Johnny preferred them too. You could see her face easier, although there was something to say about glasses looking sexy on girls. Don't worry, Johnny's got you. Such as Susan, she wore her glasses all the time, even while she slept. Ah,
What?
and good God, did she wear them well. Johnny licked his lips as he approached. The two of them looked so delicious in their outfits.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
Oh my God, the next paragraph gets even better. They were
Oh,
wearing black leather. It covered them just enough to give you a peek at their nipples and their cunts.
Oh, okay. Hang on. We gotta change the rating of this stream.
Okay. Their pussies were
Oh,
shaved,
oh,
as
never
were their
mind.
legs. They had no need for bras. Their tits just naturally stayed perky and upright. It went
That's
really
not what
well
bras
with
are for.
It went really well with their perky and upright asses.
What?
Sorry, my sister has a saggy ass. Johnny
Huh.
grinned and strutted over
Hang
towards
on-
them
hang
like the
on.
stud he was. Yeah?
Are you actually saying?
No. No, it's just that perky and upright asses. An upright
Yeah.
ass.
Oh.
Johnny grinned and strutted over towards them like the stud he was. He could smell their arousal. And by the way
Hang
that
on,
their
guys.
pink-
Bread's here.
Oh, I'm so
dear.
sorry.
I'm sorry you couldn't hear it from the beginning, Bread. I'm animating something I shouldn't be spoiling, but just go with it, okay?
Yeah. You walked into your nightmare much well.
You should probably turn around, Brad. This is
No,
not-
no, Bread will enjoy this very much.
Okay. Okay, that's not the sentence where I was. Johnny grinned and strutted over towards them like the stud he was. He could smell their arousal, and by the way that their pink puffy pussy lips were dripping, he deduced that they had just begun to orgasm at the thought of him.
Oh my god.
They had actually gotten a little bored of waiting for their younger brother and masturbated to a climax, but he didn't know that. Is she in there? Johnny said eagerly. The veins in his neck were starting to stand out, and he was straining at the bit to get in there and fuck her. Slow down, Johnny. Take it easy. Take it slow and easy. She is still befuddled by all the stuff that we did to her. She might be a little confused, Mary said,
no.
attempting to soothe the raging erection that was straining in Johnny's tight jeans. He merely snorted and pinched the girl's nipple, half teasingly, half menacingly, and half because he wanted to start fucking something already. All right. So where does she think she is? A massage parlor, we think. She kept on asking for oil and pulling at her dress, so we just assumed that and prepared the lab accordingly. We got some oil that acts as a natural aphrodisiac. That should get both of you all riled up, Susan said as she pulled playfully at Johnny's tank top. He pulled it off, exposing his large biceps and rippling waterboard-tight abs. Well,
I'm gonna waterboard someone.
I'm
I
gonna
think
waterboard
get in on
myself
this.
after this.
They meant washboard.
No,
Yeah.
it says waterboard. I might have.
know. I know.
I mean, I'm prone to misreading things, so that would have been a funny mistake. But no, waterboard tight ass. Maybe he's thinking too much about torture when he wrote this.
Maybe.
Well, let me get in on this action, Johnny said as he walked inside. The girls closed the door and pressed a button beside it, raising the temperature, the erotic music, and the animal mating pheromone that was flowing through the air. Johnny had expected this of them. They did it all automatically without a second thought. Johnny's eyes widened and his jaw dropped to the floor. Laying on a table in just a green thong and bra was his mother. Lila Test's eyes were heavy, like a milking sow who did not know where she was, or how many times she had been bred.
This is highly illegal.
All she could do was lay on her stomach and look around the big room filled with lacy curtains and beeping, blinking, soothing lights in amazement. Oh, I thought this was dressed up as a massage parlor, but okay. Hey there, Lila, Johnny said, leaning on the wooden table that she was on. She gazed up at the large stud muffin in front of her. Hello there. Do I know you? You could say
Quick
that.
interruption. Bread said, "I love it when people waterboard or What? I love it when people Yeah, I love it when people waterboard my abs."
Me too, Brad. Me too.
Oh, I guess.
Almost as much as I love Hue Test and Hue Neutron porn.
Oh, I should make some of that
Almost.
for you. Huh? Maybe that's what I'll give you for Christmas.
Hello there. Do I know you? You could say that. I'm here to oil you up. Lila's eyes ran up and down the boy's body. He was certainly well equipped. It looked like he lived in the gym. On top of that, he had that bulge in his pants. Did he get that bulge just from seeing little old her? And compared to him, she was little. He towered over her by about 1.5 feet, and that made him taller than the other 2 girls who had been in earlier, and had been so nice to her, giving her that fruity cocktail with all that alcohol in it, and those delicious selfies. She thought that this day couldn't have gotten any better, which was strange, as she couldn't exactly recall anything besides her name being Lila. That she was somewhere familiar, and that she was horny as all hell, and more relaxed than she had ever been in her life. Johnny grabbed a large bucket filled with a sweet-smelling golden oil, and plunged his hands into it. He re-emerged, slick as an otter, and began to rub up and down her back. What was that?
That was me.
She moaned at his touch, and at the warm oil washing over her like a bath. She arced her back into his hands as he slid across her, massaging and finding every single knot in her body. Not that kind of knot, really. He then paused and switched to her big, squishable rear. Johnny had never noticed how squishy his mother's ass was. It was nice and big and bouncy, and he gave it an affectionate spank. He started another sentence with an "and" after just using 3 ands, but whatever. It jiggled for a few seconds before it finally stilled. He had left a red handprint. He moved between her ass cheeks in order to coat every last inch of her in oil. He was fascinated by his good-looking reflection in the oil. And he stopped to admire his toned physique. He had come far in the past half a year. Far indeed. Before he had been a little punk. Now look at him, seducing his own stupid mother.
Yeah, my record is 3 feet for ejaculating, but I'm sure he beat me.
Oh, 3 feet. I need to see what my record is.
Horizontal rule, so we know we're going to be changing gears here.
Boy.
Many people are probably wondering, what the what? Well, let's explain. After Dookie's untimely demise at someone's hands that was never learned, Johnny became bored and depressed. His father noticed this and upped his overbearing nature on the young man, hoping that this would liven him up. Instead, it just annoyed him. With nothing to do except be a lab rat for his sisters, he had nothing else going on in his life. Until one day he had enough. "I've had enough!" Johnny squawked, walking into the lab, his voice cracking. Sorry, I was about to say crackling, but it's not crackling. Cracking. Susan and Mary snickered at their little brother, so short and scrawny. He was truly a little punk, but they loved him anyway, or tolerated him. Those are 2 different things. "I want a different life. I want to be in control. I want better things." "You shouldn't have murdered your ugly dog then."
Ooh.
Mary said bluntly as she fiddled with the ray on the table.
Shade.
Johnny pouted and kicked at something big and science-y. "I didn't murder Dookie. You can't prove anything." Johnny looked over his shoulder and began to press against her. She frowned and tried to ignore him before finally rolling her eyes. "Yes? What? What's that?" "A ray gun." "Duh. What does it do?" Susan walked over and pressed the battery into the ray gun and held it up with a showman flourish. This, Johnny, is a mind muddler. It's a mind control device that allows the user to zap a person of their regular and will to rebel. Oh, I see where this is going. Instead, instilling in them a desire to obey without question or logic or moral compass. It is based off a collar he gave to your dog once. The best part is that it does not sap the user of their intelligence or their reasoning.
Sounds dangerous.
I'm hearing is mind control ray. I'll, as in I-L-L.
That's ill, Alex.
Well, it's got the apostrophe.
Oh, well then, yeah.
I'm hearing is mind control ray. What's it for? He said, a few wheels starting to turn in his head. Gil, obviously, Mary said with scorn. She said with scorn, my bad.
Thank you for voicing that.
Johnny rolled his eyes in annoyance. Figures. Once I get him with this, he will be mine for life, Mary said, holding it close to her body. Susan grabbed it and pulled it towards her own bosom. You mean Gil will be mine for life? No, he will be mine. Mary grabbed for it back. Mary snatched it. Snatch.
Okay, so we've got a few more comments from Bread. Is that Turkey Tom? I cannot confirm. Oh, Flash is saving. I cannot confirm nor deny, but maybe. Also,
You
you
guys
guys,
want to read
yeah. How to
Oh,
Train Your
that's a
Dragon
good
X Sedokai by accidentally sent my film teacher.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a good one. We'll queue it up.
Yeah, boy.
It'll have to come after Jor's,
League of Legends, probably Dr. Mundo.
Oh god, it's just gonna be a erotic fanfiction reading stream.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to take a break at some point to go to the bathroom, but yeah, why not? If it keeps me animating.
The two girls were still pinning after a boy who had moved away 2 years ago, began to yank on the priceless piece of machinery for a few moments and growled at each other. Suddenly it went flying out of their hands and landed in Johnny's own. The 18-year-old looked at it, then at his sisters. "Johnny, hand that over now," Susan demanded, holding out her hand. "Johnny, listen to me. Give it over," Mary commanded him with a stern look on her face. Johnny looked at the ray and then his two sisters. Without missing a beat, he held it up and pulled the trigger. A green light flooded over the two of them and they blinked away stars. Their eyes had turned that same green shade. They blinked it away and looked at Johnny expectantly. Well, this is epic. Is my headache throbbing harder than your mother's? Is my headache throbbing harder than your mother's dick? It's not that kind of erotic fanfic.
Uh-oh.
I think it would only make it better, though. Oh, speaking of which, it's kind of funny.
Who the F is Original Freak? I mean, welcome. Welcome to the smut stream.
You know how freaking Chris said, anything to keep him away from my couch? I heard he's having another sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
He
guess
did.
what? They blinked it away and looked at Johnny expectantly. Make me a sandwich? Johnny demanded, confused.
Good.
The two girls ran to the kitchen to complete his request. Johnny smirked and followed after them, a few plans forming in his head. How much longer is there of this? We're about halfway through, guys, so...
Okay, well, you know.
Here we go. Mary and Susan were creating 3 double-decker super fancy sandwiches when he got downstairs, interrupting their mother and father as they worked to pack her up for a big important business meeting that she would be going for at least 6 months.
Oh.
That doesn't sound like a business meeting.
Yeah, that sounds like a full-on, like, acquisition trip. What do you...
I was thinking she's like fucking going to her boyfriend's house and staying there for a while.
Oh, I'm just going off the
no.
assumption that there is still some semblance of sanity in this world.
Some canon going on.
Bread sent me proof that he accidentally sent the fan fiction to his teacher, and then he linked me the fan fiction. So,
Oh my god, you absolute legend.
I love you all. Be good. No illegal experiments, she said to them said to them all as she kissed them on the tops
hey,
of their
she
heads.
said no
Stepped
illegal
around.
experiments, not no illegal sex acts.
Stepped around her expectant husband and went out the door. Well, that was just rude, Mr. Test said as he looked at Johnny, and the ray was pointing at him. What's that? Get to working on throwing out your old clothes, Johnny said once the green trance had left his father. His father scurried upstairs to complete the orders. Johnny sat down and took a bite of the sandwich before looking up at the girls.
Crapping on Chris's couch.
Find a way to make me permanently buff with a big dick, he commanded Susan. She nodded and ran upstairs to start inventing.
Hold on, she nutted?
She nutted.
But it's no, not November.
Find a way to make a ray that causes girls to be drop-dead sexy goddesses, Johnny said with a dismissive wave of his hand. After that, he had them invest in the stock market and play it so that they would never have to work ever again. Once that got Mr. Black and Mr. White and Bling Bling Boy's attention, the 3 nuisances had to be taken care of as well, leaving Johnny with the body of a muscle-bound freak, the cock of a stallion, and the inhibitions of a child.
Good.
Wow, what a sentence. Susan and Mary both developed to sexual perfection and intellectual heights. With Johnny removing their fears of being better and ambitious, they soon were some of the richest people in the world, with enough technology to rule over a small country, or a large one.
Why does this stream have 5 viewers?
I like the concept of destabilizing a South American nation.
I thought this was smut, but they're talking about being able to topple a country.
Yeah, they're talking about destabilizing a South American country.
Good.
But
His eyes
Johnny
aren't
didn't
right.
want world domination, of course. All he wanted to do all day was fuck his sexy sisters and goof off. The incest had just sort of naturally happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. After all, if you had a couple of mind-controlled morons under your control, you eventually just have to bite the bullet and fuck them into submission, right?
Yes. Not if
Yeah,
they're
I was
related to you,
reading-
though.
I was reading this paper, or no, that was actually a video, sorry. I watched this video, it was by Vsauce, about how smell plays into preventing us from falling into incest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scent is a big thing.
Doesn't seem to work, huh?
No,
Well,
it's like
in Johnny's case, it didn't seem to work. And remember, both Susan and, what was her name?
Mary.
Mary?
And Mary are scientists, so I believe them more than Vsauce.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, his mother had gotten home, and the girls assured them that they would handle everything. He trusted them to do the right thing. And by what was laying before him with her mind scrambled, her memory erased and her inhibitions turned off, well, he was going to fuck his mother without a second's hesitation.
Good.
Lila Tess groaned under the masterful fingerwork of the man before her. She had never been this aroused before. Or had she? She really couldn't remember. And really, did it matter? All she could think about was the massive bulge in his pants that was just a few inches away from her face. Oh boy, we're getting to the good stuff. She leaned forward just a bit. His hands were roaming all the way down her tiny little ankles and pinching them lovingly. Pitching them. He's going to rip off her ankles and pitch them. She squeaked when he moved back up and massaged her ass. She had no idea if she normally wore thongs, but this one was riding up her pussy crack and rousing her all the more. Christopher Tom says, yeah, Johnny Test needs to be put to death.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Please sign
agree.
a petition.
He even said earlier, can we please give Johnny Test the death penalty? And Classic Brett agreed. Guys, I think I know the way to get people to agree to kill other people. We just have to write fanfics, erotic fanfics about them, and then read them over the internet.
Mm.
Make sure they're awful, though.
Yeah, boy.
She squealed when she felt him grab the thing green strong between her more. What? Let's try reading that again. She squealed when she felt him grab the thin green thong between her more than... That's what it's supposed to be. I will read it as it was actually written because that's obviously what the author intended. She squealed when she felt him grab the thin green strong between her more than generous butt cheeks and pull it until it snapped cleanly.
More than generous butt cheeks.
Oh, Classic Bread will write the fan fiction about someone. Just give me a name.
Alexander Jimenez.
I was gonna say Billy Stevens, and goddammit.
Billy Stephen X Alexander Jimenez.
Oh no! Here
Throw
I got
Gordon
a
Rugley in there.
good image for inspiration.
My appearance will be involved double boiling water.
Where is it?
She squealed as Johnny defecated on her couch, much like Alexander Jimenez did to Christopher Tom.
Here, Brett. Here's the inspiration for your Billy X Alex porn. Or fan fiction. What is it? What is it doing?
I don't know what it's doing.
Oh God! Get rid of it.
She looked up at him and gasped as he poured the rest of the oil over himself and allowed it to dribble down his abs and across her back. Her nipples felt prickly and tingly as if she had been shot full of electricity. This guy doesn't know when to end a sentence.
Good.
The next part is where I
And-
fuck you until you can't walk, he said simply. Sorry, I was distracted by how that period doesn't belong there. She nodded dumbly, completely at ease with that statement. She was a bitch in heat and he was a young stud with what appeared to be the cock of a rhinoceros hidden in his pants. She could hardly complain about that, right? She felt like a cow. There you go, Billy. There goes the cow. She felt like a cow that was locked up with a young bull. Remember how we were talking about mono boob before and you're like, udder?
Yeah.
There goes the cow.
She doesn't have a mono boob.
Well, she feels like a cow. She felt like a cow that was locked up with a young bull. She might be a little long in the tooth, but that also meant she had insatiable sexual appetites. I thought those died with age, and he had the stamina and the libido to keep up with her. Or at least she hoped. She licked her lips and rolled over onto her oiled-up back and spread her legs for him. Johnny grinned and leaned downwards to kiss her on the lips. Which one?
At least he's intimate.
His pants dropped to his
That's
ankles.
a good point, George.
His pants dropped to his ankles, and he snapped her bra off with one swipe of his hand. She looked at her tits. Had they grown bigger? Yes, Susan and Mary not just scrambled their mother's brain, but also gave her some of the bimbo serum that had given them the ass of a Kardashian and the tits of high-quality porn star.
High quality stuff.
No. Low-quality porn star. She didn't know why, but they were sore and tender, and she needed him to suck on them. Oh my god, they always do this. Which was exactly what he did as he stabbed himself into her with reckless abandon. She gasped and groaned as her walls contracted around his massive dick.
Chris just wants to skip past all this gay sex stuff and get to the part where Johnny destabilizes the Brazilian economy.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Which political party does Mary affiliate with? Good.
Alright, we're not that far down, so I won't skip anything. But we're probably going to get to that part soon.
What should his tail be doing?
She licked her lips. Okay. She could hardly think. They had only the foreplay with the oil and his fingers slipping in and out around her pussy as he applied it. But that had been more than enough to get her wet as a marsh. Swamp.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Johnny's in his swamp. Her swamp. Sorry. She gasped as he pulled himself into her. All the way into her. There was no more room for his cock, but he continued to push.
Oh no.
What
Rip and
are
tear.
you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in your mom?
Classic Bread says, I am writing gay shit right now.
Yeah, I sent him the fan art, Alex.
Classic Bread, could you please write into the Brazilian economy getting destabilized somewhere in there?
I'll take
You're
credit
gonna
for
destabilize my Brazilian economy.
I won't take credit for that.
How much is there? She said in amazement as he continued to hit every single last pleasure point. He was expanding her consciousness. She was having a religious experience. He had replaced God and heaven. He was her God, and his cock in her pussy was her heaven. She could only groan as he began to pause and grunt. He had to push even harder since she was so tight around his cock. Is this even Can we even do this on YouTube?
I feel like we can.
He grabbed her hips.
I'm gonna
and used
immediately unlist this afterwards, so it's fine.
Okay, good. He grabbed her hips and used them to push her deeper and deeper onto him. Onto him? He plunged into her and then into her womb. Ooh, we're going that far.
He's returning to the womb.
He pushed so hard that he touched the back wall and then forced himself to stretch it out. Oh, we're going that far.
She's dead.
She cried out in pleasure and died. No, orgasm.
Why is this making me so sick?
This is what you get for not animating all day, Billy. This is your punishment.
It is.
Gasping and huffing and looking at the flame-headed boy as he continued to suck at her nipples. He then pulled out teasingly. Her entire snatch was filled at all times, but
I can't wait for the cream pie.
again and then said but. He's using all these conjunctions, but
Alex, he has to make up for the lack of butt.
Her entire snatch was filled at all times, but now he was massaging it, going up and down, causing friction, causing her to feel like she was on fire. He picked her up and began to thrust upwards, allowing gravity to help her slide up and down his pole. She groaned and gasped and choked on her own joy rising inside of her. Sorry about that. Her pussy walls were sopping wet and made his cock come in.
Noises only make it better.
Imagine that being the sound of her pussy walls were sopping wet and made his cock come in and down of her like a wild piston. She flung her head back and felt her ass cheeks clenched together in joy. Hallelujah! He grabbed them and squeezed them so hard that she felt vibrations all the way in her eyeballs and in her pussy walls.
Hamon.
It's hard to write and listen to this,
Yeah,
so
right.
I will mute until I send you the fanfic.
Aw.
Wow, Brett, you're gonna miss a lot.
She had never had a tickling like this
Brett's just gonna
before.
have to rewatch
Not to say that she could even remember if she had ever been fucked at all. Oh, Mom! Johnny cried out as his balls tightened and he had to hold his orgasm back. She needed to come a few more times. God. If he was her kid, she would have fucked him when he was still in footy pajamas. Oh. Was he her kid? He had called her mom earlier. Well, she was still down with it. His cock was too good to pass up.
This is illegal, but I like it so.
She screeched. She screeched as she began to orgasm again and clench herself around him like a koala. Aw, that is adorable. She squeezed her ankles together and tightened her pussy. She felt him stir her insides up. That sounds awful. She was so warm. His large arms were cradling her like she was all new to this. Like she was the virgin and he was the cockmaster. Well, he was enough of a stud to repopulate the planet, so she couldn't be wrong about that. Oh God! Oh God! Oh my God! She shouted out as she continued to bounce on his cock. His balls full of sperm and heavy as a couple of bowling balls bounced and slapped and spanked her ass. Instead of hurting him, it only excited Johnny all the more. He knew that he didn't have much longer. He stopped and looked her in the eyes. She quirked her head to the side. We need to make sure that your back is nice and oiled up. And though I love looking at those bouncing big titties, he said, giving one a kiss. They looked very pale and pointed out like horns. They were also large, nearly covering half of her breast. Okay. He could just imagine them pierced with tiny bones. Huh? He wondered if anyone would agree to some role-playing as him as the eager caveman, and they were the little cave bitches of his to fuck to impregnation. Hugh could be their cave slave. Thank God Hugh makes another appearance.
Thank you. This was necessary.
As I was saying, nice tits, but we need to oil that back of yours up. He's saying this to his mom. As I was saying, nice tits, Mom.
Yeah, I don't think that's the first thing, or the worst thing about this, Alex.
I don't know, it's just all too much. Lila nodded her head numbly. She wanted to say, master, but that would just be a bit too crazy. Her mind was too fuzzy to connect any dots currently. All she could really focus on was the best cock that had ever graced her pussy with its presence. She spun her around and held her legs open, pointing her directly at a mirror. Behind it, Susan was fucking Mary with a strap on, a video camera recording their brother's conquest. They had all agreed to sell some of their sexy times for the world to see. They were unashamed of their relationship, and dragging their mother into the harem seemed like the logical thing to do.
Of course it did.
Anyway, she would thank them later if they ever returned her memories. Johnny, not having come once, was filled to the brim and fit to burst. He began to thrust upwards and pull back. Her pussy would only release about an inch of his monster cock into the air at the time, but it was enough to stir her up to crazy levels, and enough to get him nice and hot. He pulled out. His cock suctioned between her pillow-sized ass cheeks, and his sperm exploded like a fountain.
Why would you
covering
pull
her
out?
back.
Pussy.
I mean, well,
Oh,
whatever.
boo-hoo, it's his mom. You're already doing it. You might as well just effing come in her. Come on.
Well, I was about to argue it ruins this, but that would imply pleasure to begin with. Covering her back all the way to her hairline. Her brown hair was now speckled with his cum.
Ugh.
Her ass cheek squeezing the spurting fountain. It was not ending anytime soon. He slapped it back into his mother for 7 strong strokes and filled her womb to bursting. Her ovaries quaked with the amount of hot, potent, baby-making man semen that he was filling her with. She could feel herself getting pregnant with a small army of babies as he finished there.
Oh no, more Johnny tests running around.
Then he pulled out and shot a final victory arc across her front. Her mouth caught some of the tsunami of semen, but most of it traveled up her navel in long, slimy ropes, landing across her face and hair. It hung from around her neck like beads and dribbled across her breasts and puffy nipples like pearls. She gasped and gagged like a fish. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I'm gagging like a
She reached down
fish.
with one hand and ran it over her belly button, picking up some of the slime. She tasted it and began to scoop more and more up and gobbled it down. Picking it up from her belly button and tasting the slime just kind of gets me. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
That's a good cum slut, Johnny said, comforting his mother as she continued to dine on the delicious dinner that he had prepared for her. She sucked as much semen into her mouth as she could. Soon both her pussy and mouth were white as winter. His cock was still a little chubby. After all, there was nothing hotter than seeing a woman suck down your fresh hot semen.
Your own mother.
Even if it was your own mind-controlled mom.
Is that how it ends?
The end.
Perfect.
I'm gonna need to get a drink before I put on my performance.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a drink too. My mouth's kind of dry from that.
Yeah.
I will finish this frame, and then I too will we'll take a little jack off break, and also get a drink.
You beat me to the joke. I will return momentarily.
Of course, I beat you to a masturbation joke. I beat myself to a masturbation joke.
It was a 46-minute league game. Jesus Christ.
46 minutes.
Yeah,
That's pretty long.
we were going hard.
We were getting hard. Oh, that's not at all right.
Wait for Alex to come back.
All right, that frame is done. So,
Alright, I have returned.
I'm gonna take a quick pee break. So you guys entertain the audience and figure out which fanfiction we're gonna do next.
We're gonna do the Dr. Mundo one.
Okay, and then I guess we'll do the Dragon X Seto Kaiba, and then whatever Bread manages to write up. Oh boy, I'll be back.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say that I enjoy reading these erotic fan fictions, as it provides me an opportunity to improve my vocal performance. I don't ever get self-conscious about my performances because I don't have to worry about not doing the piece justice.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it's erotic fan fiction.
I get that, and honestly, for me, I can misread a lot worse than you, Alex. I guarantee you. I'm gonna stutter here, and I apologize for the audience. I can go stream now, not in the fucking game. 46 minutes.
It's okay, because in the words of Billy Stevenson, it's an experience.
Yeah.
But that was interesting.
I agree. It was magic.
His grammar was pretty awful, but he had some imagery going there. I liked the moments of alliteration that he had. Like, let me see if I can find it
Here,
again.
I'm going to read this warning for the audience.
Okay.
Not for Billy though. Well, I might as well read it all at one because it's nah.
Sure.
Bathhouse of Legends XXX by Runty Grunty. I knew where to find this, sadly, because I've read this before. This one's not going to be for everyone. It's another rape story. This one's pretty brutal, so if you want to skip it, that's fine by me. Just giving you a fair warning. Contains strong rape and body inflation. Reader discretion is advised.
Sure, sorry to return to the previous topic, but I have just discovered something about this website.
Okay.
That was chapter 1 of 2.
Oh,
It continues with more Johnny.
oh my god!
I'm gonna skim it real quick to see if there's anything about the Brazilian government being.
What the heck?
Alright. Are we ready? Because this one's going to be a bit of a long too.
Come.
Oh, it gets nasty.
This is a 21 part series.
Oh my
Some of the
god,
parts-
21 parts?
Some of the parts are related. This one is not.
Oh, okay.
Number 17. Mundo does who he pleases. Featuring Dr. Mundo. Alex, Billy, and I are very well acquainted with Dr. Mundo's spaghetti
Oh, I
cock.
should probably... Oh no. I should probably change the name of the stream now.
And Elise. Elise is a spider lady.
Oh, Jor, you're reading this one, yeah?
Yeah.
Jor reads...
Elise. That's if you need to get into what you're looking for.
Dr. Mundo, erotic fanfiction.
The form of a great black and red spider crept silently through the treetops of Summoner's Rift, looking down at the jungle floor below. Any moment now, her prey would be coming through, trying to reach the next. Oh, see, I fuck up more than Alex. Trying to reach the nest, to the dragon pit. A loud, slobbering sound marked the appearance of Dr. Mundo, the madman of Zon. The giant purple-skinned mutant held his trademark cleaver in a hand and looked as oblivious as ever to the presence of the arachnid over his head. Elise silently chuckled. This was all too easy. Her abdomen shifted, and her thorax came a spray of webbing down at Dr. Mundo. Mundo made a dumb yet surprised grunt as his foot got stuck on the webs beneath his feet. He looked down at the webs, completely puzzled by what he saw. He barely even acknowledged it at first. And then he was sprayed with more webs, binding him into place.
I feel like this one's gonna actually be erotic, or at least I'm gonna get horny from it.
Then the Spider Queen
Billy,
descended her
there's
fangs.
another chapter of that.
Yeah, there's another Johnny Test chapter.
Oh boy.
Descended her fangs quickly, sinking into Mundo's neck. In doing so, she both began to suck the fluids going through Mundo's bloodstream, and it sent her deadly neurotoxin surging into his blood. Even one as tough as Dr. Mundo would not be able to resist such an attack. Or so Elise thought. In shock, the spider Elise suddenly felt her entire body go numb. Her legs petrified. I imagine her like curling up like a dead spider. I think she does that. Her legs petrified in their previous position, went limp as the arachnid fell to ground. Seconds later, a cloud of wispy black smoke surrounded the arachnid, and upon clearing, they revealed the quivering, paralyzed human form of Elise, dressed in her usual skimpy attire. What's happening to me? Elise managed to choke out. It was then Elise heard her adversary laugh as he turned towards her, having easily broken out of her webs. Mundo's tongue dangled out from his giant mouth, sending drool all over the place, including onto Elise's quivering body. The slimy substance made Elise sick to her stomach as it splattered all over her. "Stupid spider lady," said Mundo. "Mundo knew you'd be here, so Mundo had special serum mixed into blood. Now Spider Lady cannot move or fight, but Mundo's still strong."
You got a strong dick.
Elise couldn't believe it. She had been outsmarted by this degenerate. The very notion was infuriating, but Elise could only find herself in a state of absolute panic. She could not run, fight, or even defend herself. She was at Mundo's mercy, and she knew by reputation that he had absolutely none to give. "Spider Lady think Mundo slow. Spider Lady think Mundo dumb. Now Spider Lady will be taught lesson by Mundo."
It's gonna whip out his massive cock.
He's gonna whip out his tongue.
Ugh.
Elise's face was of stark terror as Mundo grabbed her by the neck and hoisted her into the air.
I don't know how small this spider lady is, but she probably should be in terror.
I'm gonna ballpark her at like 5'6" and Mundo at like 7 foot minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum.
The
She should
pressure
be scared.
around her throat made her try anything to move in panic, but with Mundo's poison in her system, all she could do was weakly shake. Yet in doing so, Mundo watched Elise's curvaceous form and turned his shock into what? Okay. The curvaceous form turned Mundo's shock into excitement. I think they forgot who was who in that. Anyway, with a few more disturbing laughs, Mundo then said, pretty spider lady need lesson.
Pretty, he say.
Yeah.
Mundo will teach pretty spider lady lesson with her body. What? Wait, no, you can't. Elise
This
shrieked
is getting hot.
As Mundo grabbed her waist and held her arms over her body, and then seized some of the Spider Queen's nearby webs. Within seconds, Dr. Mundo had Elise hanging from a tall tree, arms bound by her own webs. She was too weak to kick at him, and she could only watch him in apprehension.
By the way, there's like 8 other people dueling to death. This has happened. Just
Nice. Oh yeah.
A scream then escaped Elise's lip as Mundo grasped her bodice, and immediately the garb was torn away from Elise's body, leaving her bountiful chest exposed. The pale, fleshy orbs were adorned by pink and erect nipples, which Mundo was quick to grab in his enormous hands. Though her breasts were huge by human standards, Mundo had no trouble enveloping each of them in each of his hands. Pretty spider lady has nice boobies, said Dr. Mundo goofily. Mundo play with spider boobies.
No.
Stop it. Don't touch my breast like
Eloquent.
that.
I said stop it. Ah!
Please fell deaf on Dr. Mundo's ears as his hands roughly squeezed and pulled at her mounds, to which she could only shake her head in shame. She had never been handled so roughly before, and she found she couldn't feel any inkling of pleasure from Mundo's grasp. Ow! Ouch! Stop that! You're crushing me! Pretty spider boobies are big and soft! Mundo play with pretty spider boobies some more! Mundo is so easy to write. Elise protests. Oh, what? Did I just reread that?
Classic Bread says, I sent
on.
you as much as I could write on my cell phone.
No. Okay, no. They wrote the same first line. Elise's protest fell on deaf ears as Dr. Mundo continued to paw at her chest. There was no reasoning with the madman, and Elise wished she could only move as to kill him with her poisons, but her body still refused to grant to any response. Mundo's giant fingers pinched Elise's nipples between his thumb and his index finger. He pulled back, making her rise as he tugged upon her breasts upward, holding her off the ground by her teat.
Good.
Elise could not stop screaming as she felt as if her nipples were about to be torn off. Please stop. I'm sorry. Don't pull me like that. Ah! Elise finally stopped her screams as Mundo released her nipples, sending her swinging back underneath the webbing, her breasts bruised and sore. Even the breeze was now making them feel like they were worn on. Mundo done with pretty spider boobies. Now Mundo want to play with pretty spider lady's pussy. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't dare. Stop. No. Mundo's hands reached down to the lower half of Elise's ensemble and ripped them open in front of her pants section. A completely hairless pussy.
Spiders have a lot of hair.
A completely
Spiders
hairless
don't
pussy.
have pussies, George.
Well, if there was, there'd be a lot of hair.
Well, obviously she's shaven.
Then she wouldn't be able to stick to things.
Yeah.
Does that mean that spiders use their pussy juice to stick to things?
Met his eyes. slightly wet from arousal. Mundo like pretty spider pussy. Mundo introduce Mundo staff to pretty spider pussy. Mundo staff. I'm surprised they didn't say cleaver. With that, Mundo's pants were quickly dropped to the ground, and Elise's eyes shot wide as saucers. Hanging between Mundo's legs was the largest cock she had ever seen. It was easily wider than her arm, and it looked like it was almost 2 feet long. She nearly panicked. How could something so massive supposedly fit into her without tearing her pussy apart?
It's not gonna.
Mundo's hands grabbed Elise's ankles and pulled her legs apart as Elise began to protest. No, 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 no. You cannot put it in me. It'll never fit. Please don't rip me into two. Please! Elise's pleas went unnoticed by Dr. Mundo as he lined his massive cock up with her small pussy. He made a few prods at her lips, an act that sent her into absolute hysterics. Please, anything but that. Mercy, please, you can't go in there!
I'm only doing the last line.
Yes, Mundo can. Mundo will go where he pleases. And Mundo will now send his Mundo staff into pretty spider pussy. No!
Yeah, boy.
Elise shrieked at the top of her lungs as Mundo thrusted his massive cock into her. Her walls stretched beyond their limits. Instantly, the pain was almost blinding to her. Her cervix was breached immediately, rest in peace, so Mundo's massive dick now planted itself firmly into Elise's womb. No, stop. Take it out. Take it out. Take it out! Oh man, I cracked it. With demented laughs, Mundo said, "Oh, pretty spider pussy, very tight fit. Mundo staff will make spider pussy
Loose.
Then Mundo began to thrust. Elise cried and screamed with every tiny inch of movement inside of her. It felt like he was using the force of a tree trunk into her snatch, and with every thrust, she felt her sanity start to slip. You have to stop this. You can't do this to me. With more demented chuckles, Mundo then leaned forward. He began lapping his huge tongue all over Elise's face. Elise recoiled in revulsion as the madman slobbered all over her face before moving down to her swollen breasts with his tongue. Already sensitive, Elise withered and mewled as Mundo's tongue sucked away at her tit. The tongue specifically sucked away at the tits.
Yeah, boy.
Some predator little tongue mouth action going there.
Her tits while continuing to thrust into Elise without slowing pace. Mundo like how spider lady taste. Pain taste. Very good. Mundo want more. Elise's eyes flooded with tears as Mundo grabbed beneath her armpits with both of his hands and pulled her into each hard thrust. His thumbs reached over to paw away at Elise's bosom, mashing them against her chest as he rubbed her tits and nipple. Her stomach was visibly distended each time his huge dick plunged into her, away from her slim form, battering her womb relentlessly.
And her internal organs.
Yes.
I'd like to remind everyone that this is my first stream in months.
We could have done an art stream, but we did this.
Battering her womb relentlessly. And through it all, Elise could not feel a single ounce of pleasure. All she felt was sheer, and unabridged anguish. Stop it. Stop it. Please. You're gonna kill me.
I think that's what he wants.
Rift, he'll just respawn. Don't worry.
Mundo's only response...
Would you still be stretched out?
Mundo's only response was to continue his insane laughter. Elise kept on screaming despite each thrust was enough to compress her lungs, making it hard to breathe each time Mundo withdrew. She had to suck in every last bit of air she could just to not suffocate. His thumbs pressing down on her tits only made it harder. He was putting much more pressure on before, causing each bit of air brought in to be forced out of her lungs. Please, have mercy. I can't take it anymore of it. Stop it, this. Stop it! Elise's screams were developed into pathetic cries of anguish. Soon, her pleas turned into incoherent blabbering as she felt her throat fill with her stomach's content. bile seeking to escape her insides. She knew she wouldn't last much longer, and no one was coming to save her.
Man, that's a fucking shitty.
Her vision began to blur. Her body grew limp, suddenly giving out under the strain of being raped by the madman of Zahn. Consciousness began to fade from her mind, but before she could black out, a sudden jolt of agony sprung from her from the brink. Spider Lady asleep! Spider Lady can't sleep now! Mundo!
Finishing.
Oh no.
What? No, you'll kill me. You can't. Not inside of me. You'll kill me. Mundo's supposed to kill Spider Lady. Anyway, Mundo see no problem.
Mundo's right.
Mundo
And-
finished now.
Bread says this reminds me of Enderman porn I found on Pornhub. Enderman porn.
Yes, I think I know exactly what they're talking about.
Good.
Mundo had pulled Elise down from the webs that he used to bound her arms and grabbed a hold of her waist, using them to pull her into his new, rabid thrusts. Elise found herself almost hyperventilating as she shrieked and screamed, her insides continuing to be brutally violated. Inside, she felt Mundo's dick begin to pulsate against her vaginal walls. She knew he was about to come right into her vulnerable wound.
I've spoiled a
That's
cameo in this cartoon.
Oh, damn.
Whoops.
I
Oh
wonder
well,
what-
it has to happen.
I've,
Sorry
come,
for
so-
ruining the surprise. All right, back to the porn.
I wonder what build Mundo's using. He shouldn't have armor pen. No. Someone help me. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Mundo made a grunting howl, and as he shouted, Mundo! As he thrusted his
Who
full
screams
length-
their own name while coming?
Mundo, evidently.
Everyone.
I hope I wake my family up with
Mundo! As he thrusted his full length into Elise and released his climax. No! Elise screamed with everything she had felt. Mundo had left his sperm inside of her, violently began to flood her insides. Instantly, her slim waist began to swell, looking as if it had... Oh man, I'm sorry.
Let's
I'm
see, this
sorry
is
to
hot
the
because it's not
Hold on.
incest.
I'm sorry to the person who is sweating the most right now. Her stomach began to quickly swell as if she were 6 months pregnant, and it didn't come to a stop there. In less than a minute, Elise's, I don't know, SVELTE, svelte?
SVT what?
SVELTE, svelte?
I guess.
Svelte form was now a distant memory for her. Her midsection was so bloated with cum that she thought she was about to explode. Her eyes were practically rolling in her skull from the painful
inflation.
Oh no. Hey Alex, it's your fetish.
Oh,
That's why-
Jor,
That's
you're gonna
why
have
I
to
was-
send me this.
That's why I was trying to be discreet, but okay.
Good.
Good, Billy. Good job.
Billy, discretion.
Mundo is almost finished, Spider Lady. Mundo will fit. Mundo. Suddenly, Mundo started to wobble from side to side in a daze. His grip on her waist released for a moment, which Elise took to desperately try to scramble off his enormous dick. But even so thoroughly fucked, her insides were tight around Mundo's cock, making it impossible for her to pull herself off. Elise turned to Dr. Mundo, looking at him, and then saw his eyes and nose were dripping with blood. Clearly something had gone seriously wrong. She had done some internal damage to him. She quickly realized that it was her own neurotoxin. Violating her must have spread the poison at a much more rapid rate through his blood.
Good.
With the final groaning, Mundo. Dr. Mundo collapsed backwards, making Elise shriek as she was pulled upright, still impaled on her cock. Then, within seconds,
Her cock.
saw Mundo's body fade away into the blue light. The summoner's magic at work. Elise fell to the ground and screamed in agony as she landed on her distended belly. Immediately, a huge spout of cum sprayed out of her gaping pussy. which had barely seconds earlier been accommodating Mundo's massive dick. Now, everything that had been packed into her womb was so forcefully pushed out in an agonizing experience for the Spider Queen. Spurts and sprays of cum continued to blast out of Elise's ruined nether lips, and her bloated gut began to compress, attempting to resume its former narrow shape. For minutes, all Elise could do was gasp in exarticulation as her mangled insides tried to return to the usual place, but the damage had been done, and her life was fading from her. She could only be thankful that the summoner would prevent her from having this death being made permanent. Her eyes grew dark as her consciousness faded from her mind. A blue light whisked her back to the base. Gave up the ghost. Mundo will fuck who he pleases, including sexy spider ladies. I seem to be better at writing non-consensual scenarios than consensual ones. Don't know if that's my preference, or if it's easier overall to think of scenarios. The female in question is a rape victim. Hope it isn't just me. Edit. Touched up a few points to make Mundo's cock seem even bigger. Then having a distended stomach and lung compression bits made more sense. A 2-foot cock might sound OP, Plisnerv, but remember, I added Plisnerv, but remember that this is Mundo we're talking about. Please leave your reviews, and remember, you were warned about the chapter's content.
Okay.
So good. Okay, before we get to the How to Train Your Dragon X Seto Kaiba one, Brett has finished his fanfiction.
Good. We will read his. I have to go to bed soon because I have work tomorrow. So let's read his.
All right,
Alex,
here.
what's your favorite part? The Mundo staff, the distended stomach.
It was when Mundo screamed out "Mundo" during his climax. That was really good. I really liked that.
Which Mundo scream?
Don't worry, Brett. We're reading yours next.
The first time he screamed during his climax, I didn't think there were that many.
There were like.
I could just imagine, like, now I'm gonna have sex with a woman. I'm gonna just be like, oh, Alex.
No. It's Alex. You can't forget the.
All right. Moving on to Classic Bread's story. Would you like to read this, Jor?
Are you in the reading mood?
I can do it.
All right.
I suppose it would make more sense for Jor to do it since it involves us.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you're right.
I'm just gonna
It was a
F and
warm
change.
night, the musky, hurricane-ridden Eastern American front. Billy had spent his whole day outside, collecting hurricanes to be used as a swirling vortex of moist density for him to apply onto his lonesome, heavily invasive Burmese python. Oh, that's very good.
Good.
As soon as he got back home, his excitement reached a boiling point. Just quickly as the power outage in a storm cutting off porn access, Billy tore his pants off and made fierce use of the smallest hurricane he found. The effects of global climate change on human civilization. In an instant, his nearly spalling juices had contaminated the entire living room. God damn it, Peter's gonna be pissed. Drenching it in a vial so white, sticky, and moist. It could have been easily confused for a KKK swim meet on a hot summer day. Billy was terrified of this. His ejaculation had never been so fierce and plentiful. Usually he could contain himself, or at least hold back so he could block the raw blast of baby batter. Fred. Good job, but Billy is perpetually coming. There's no stopping it. And it's at the minimum pressure.
Fiction, Jor. Come on.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
It's at the minimum of a fire hose. Suddenly, a loud coughing came from underneath the couch cushion. Terrified and still naked while gasping his fading erection, he went over to investigate. He lifted the couch cushion, Underneath it was Alex. Alex exclaimed, "Why the
fuck is the room coated in semen?"
To which Billy replied,
Where is it?
"What are you doing in my swamp?"
What are you doing in my house?
This is Prater's house. He invited me.
There was a moment of silence. And to them, it was more sacred than the Christmas oath of 1914 between the trenches of the British and the French.
Excellent.
I think that's the
Good.
wrong armies. This was broken by Billy's erection, which had sprung back to action like ashes of a phoenix. Alex made quick notice to this and realized that he won't be leaving home a virgin, just as he had planned.
Oh no. Rip.
I am a mastermind.
Well,
The reason I was under that couch is that I had mistaken it for Chris's couch and was looking for somewhere to take a dump.
I feel like
Hence why I had no clothes.
I feel like I would want to write something more in character. Yeah, Chris's couch would be shit on. Perpetually Coming would probably take place in Waifu Palace.
alright, now
Only
it's
the fresh, most fine imported Chris's couches are allowed in Waifu Palace.
good. Is it time for the How to Train Your Dragon X Seto Kaiba 1?
Is it short?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't want to spoil it for myself. There's the link.
Who's Seto Kaiba?
He's the antagonist from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
He's the guy with a lot of money.
Kaiba Co-op.
There are 3 chapters and an announcement.
Mm.
Okay, so the first chapter is really short.
Like my dick.
So Alex, when are you going to sleep, like, straight up?
Probably around 2.
Mm.
Depending on how long this takes, I might read another one, and this one will be for Billy.
Oh boy.
Author's notes. I know I have a bunch of stories I should be working on, Toshiro, but this story has you as the main character. You should be thanking me, Toshiro. You have been good, so you deserve this story, which is filled with dragons. Oh boy. Toshiro, my own story! Awesome! You still need to work on the other stories, though. Firewing Pegasus. Who the fuck are these people? I know, just I could not get this out of my head. I was just watching How to Train Your Dragon when I got this story in my head. Shiro's. Who cares? It's my story. Hashira doesn't own Yu-Gi-Oh! Or How to Train Your Dragon. Enjoy this story feature around me.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Toshiro Hayurinamaru.
I can't believe
Oh my
Chris is
lord.
missing this epic Joey Domino cameo.
Shindere.
Hey,
No,
Megumin, go
I was-
away.
I was never a normal person. I was born and raised in ancient Japan. I am a half shadow
off
creature
it.
on my father's side, half Komodo dragon on my mother's side. What an interesting combo. I have 4 arms, my human form.
Forearms.
I have pale skin, narrow turquoise dragon eyes, and spiky ice-colored hair with a cool-looking bang in front of my left eye. My birth form, a giant Komodo dragon at 13 feet long and 350 pounds, my turquoise eyes showing danger to my enemies, my icy blue scales, my baggy armor, and silver
Interjection.
claws.
What?
Firewing Pegasus is the author.
Ah,
Oh my.
is this like this sounds like it was a role play and they're trying to establish what the characters look like real quick. And silver claws with silver scaled on my forehead. Silver scaled on my forehead arranged in the symbol of the eye of, what is that, Horus?
Horus, probably, yeah.
My elemental angel form. My human form with some tweaks. Bird wings made of, oh my god, he's just describing his OCs. Bird wings made of, I can imagine that. He accidentally sent this to his professor, was it? Bird wings made of ice are on my back. My ears turn to the side and look like long elf ears, and my hair becomes more shaggy to that of a mane. Finally, my shadow creature form, a fierce-looking icy blue dragon with horns and a mane on the back of my head. The eye of Horus is silver scales on my blue scaly forehead. A long, slender neck with blue spines running down from my neck to my tail. sharp-looking claws for hands, giant bird wings with ice on the ends of my feathers, a long, slender body with talons for feet, my tail long and slender like the rest of me, with the shape of a crescent moon on the end. This is going to be on the test, guys, okay?
Okay.
5,000 years ago, there was a war in Egypt. Oh my god, we went from ancient Japan to Egypt.
Good.
There was a war in Egypt, and I got separated from my soulmate, Hashira. 5,000 years later, I am reunited with her, and we help her pharaoh to reunited with his memories and name. After that, we finally have some peaceful times. I am walking toward the Kame game shop at the moment. I am wearing silver arm and leg bands, along with my necklace and locket I received from Hashira 5,000 years ago. It is made from gold, rubies, and topaz, and in the center ruby is a picture of her. My clothing choice is skin-tight blue leather pants, a white leather shirt with silver dragons outlined in blue designs, an icy blue jacket with a silver dragon head on the back, and white leather shoes. Unashira, I'm outside the game shop. Dragoshira, okay, I'm coming. Is that how he does? Dragoshira, okay, I'm coming in. I don't know why those have / and backslashes in front of them. Some RP shit going on.
Yeah, boy.
The front door opens, and Shira and I both blush at what we're wearing. She is wearing long red pants, a black shirt with red and gold designs of Arabian horses on it. Oh boy. A crimson jacket with a gold design of an Arabian horse head. Black shoes. My necklace locket that I gave her, made of sapphires, turquoise stones. This is a really long list. Turquoise stones and diamonds. Gold earrings in the shape of anks. And gold arm and leg bands. In all, the most beautiful being in the universe. This is literally like he's just listing everything. Hello, Unashira. I say, and look at how good she looks in her clothes, earning a deeper shade of red on her face. Perfect. Hey, Dragoshiro. You look nice, she says while blushing a little deeper. Any deeper and she would become more red than a tomato, which I like. He likes tomatoes, I guess? Grandpa, Pharaoh, Yugi, Toshiro, and I are leaving for our date. We'll be back in a while. Hashira then skipped over to me and I wrapped my arm around her. Come on, I know where the perfect place to go is, I say, and she nods. It's kind of like it's dialogue, but it's not. We go into elemental angel form. Transform. Transformers. Causing her to look even more beautiful. She sprouts wings made of fire. Her ears climb to the top of her head and look more like horse ears, and her hair lengthens to mid-back. We spread our wings and take to the skies, holding each other's hands. I lead her away from town to a nearby lake. I look around, and seeing no one around, we fly down. I wonder how far the professor got. Probably all the way to chapter 4. As we touch down, we give each other a kiss. It escalates, but when we find the need for air, we just stare into each other's eyes. I look straight... stare into each other's eyes for dominance. I look straight into her ruby eyes and smile on how she can be so innocent on the inside. Yet in reality, a girl who could hold her own in battle and will not hesitate to protect those she cares about. Toshiro, those past 5,000 years, I've missed you, she says as we sit down on the banks. I know, after all, I would come to Egypt sometimes on my travels, and I would leave things for you in front of Atemu's tomb. What the fuck are these names? That way, you don't starve, I admit with a little blush of my own. All of a sudden, we both feel unknown magical energies around this place. Is there gonna be a battle? We get up and look around, cautious of our surroundings. Yeah. I suddenly see a bright light near Hashira and run as fast as I can. She notices I can feel her fear through the link as I shove her out of the way. As I shove her away, I can feel a tugging force and realize that it has me. I try to break free and get to Hashira, and she tries to pull me out of it, but then I realize that it's too strong. Hashira! The force trying to get me is too strong! Let go of my hands! Please, Unashira! I yell. No, Dragoshiro! I don't want to lose you again. There must be something we could do to stop this thing from getting you. She yells, tears forming in her eyes, which breaks my heart. I'm sorry. I will find a way to return to you, I say, which causes her eyes to widen. Before I yank my hands from hers and feel the magic pull me faster, before my vision goes completely black. Dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji. Normal point of view in another time and world. Dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji, dragon emoji. Oh no. Hiccup ran out of his house and hopped on Toothless. Come on, bud, let's go for a ride, he said as he brushed his messy brown hair out of his green eyes. Toothless roared and spread out his wings before taking flight. They flew out to the woods. All of a sudden, Toothless could smell something wrong and... I'm gonna skip a chapter.
But Alex, what about the context?
I mean, I'm here for the funny.
Yeah, Billy, I'm sorry. I can't find any erotic.
What?
Can't find any erotic Kindred fanfiction.
Oh, rip. Wow, that's surprising.
No.
I mean, there's a good bit of porn.
Yeah, but you know.
Ah, so this is just a plain out fan fiction. There's no erotic here.
What?
I'm not seeing anything erotic in here.
Alex, it's Seto Kaiba X Toothless, isn't it? I don't remember what Brett said. Brett says it's erotic.
Okay, where does the erotic begin? I guess I have to skim it over a little bit slower.
Oh, I think I found some Kindred
Ooh.
erotic. Yeah, pretty sure it's.
Once again, I can't believe Chris is missing this epic Joey Domino cameo. It's probably for the better though that it's not spoiled for him.
I should also specify this to you, Billy. I'm sure you don't care, but I'm still going to. Kindred is actually the name of like both the two.
I know.
Yep. You're aware that their names are actually Lamb and Wolf. So fucking stupid.
Yeah. I'm aware that Kindred's also the wolf. But you know, the lame half's super hot.
Did I miss it?
Probably shouldn't talk about how hot lambs are while I'm animating a cartoon with anthropomorphic animals, huh? It'll look bad.
I mean, everyone knew. Everyone here knew.
Look,
Yes.
a brother looking for a good wank.
then-
Where does the fucking erotic begin?
Yeah, Brett, where's the erotic begin, huh?
When did Brett say I accidentally sent this to my professor when I had to send in a movie assignment?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
new?
A while ago. It was after you
It doesn't
said
get
you
erotic
sent this
outside
to.
of the two kissing.
That's pretty gay. Come on, Brett, that's not erotic. Why you waste your time? Alex, let's
I
go
was
to bed.
kind of hoping you had sent a erotic fan fiction to your
Yeah, you know, with
professor.
some dragon dick.
I've got 2 minutes. We gotta get some fanfic going here.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. This one's about an Anubis fucking a lamb. Short.
Ooh.
But that'll be
Alright.
saved.
I guess until next time, gentlemen, this is Alexander Jimenez signing off.
Wow.
Adios.
I mean, we can still continue, sure. Because
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
think-
keep animating.
I think that this is at least cut.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I still feel like streaming.
Okay, well,
Should
I
we just
don't
change this over
know.
to a serious stream?
I said
Nah, I
I
don't
don't
care. Hey, look,
night.
if it night, Alex. Look, you know, we're still in the erotic fan fiction mood. If you decide to read some more, then you know, there you go. It won't be out of place.
Oh, okay. What do you want me to read now, Billy? You're the one who's gonna lead the
I don't know. I don't care.
discuss.
Yeah.
You want me to read more, but you don't tell me what to read? Give me a suggestion from the audience. Come on, audience. You hated me reading before. Hate me reading more.
How did you guys like the Alex and Billy fanfic? Good. I'm
was
sorry if I said it gets erotic. Wow, Brad, we specified erotic fanfiction. Well, what would you like us to read now, Brad? Or any of the other 3 viewers, whoever those are. One of them's Jor, I would assume. One was Alex.
Actually, one of them's not me.
What the F?
I keep on accidentally closing.
Wow. Surprised this has 4 consistent viewers.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, obviously Chris isn't watching, because otherwise he'd be freaking out about the Joey Domino cameo. I'm sorry it had to be revealed in this way.
What had to be revealed?
Joey Domino's cameo in this Turkey Tom cartoon.
You know, sometimes they be.
While we read erotic fanfiction.
Sometimes things just be.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, my throat is my throat's doing okay. Although I feel like I've given it a good size and reading.
Mm.
Welcome to New Grounds Radio. Visit us at newgrounds.com/radio.
Brad has linked a thing.
Oh. Okay, opening up YouTube.
Wow,
Thank
what
you.
the F? What is it?
Sarah versus something big.
What is this fanfiction of?
Sarah never knew that Chuck had something very big. He had been hiding. See what happens when she finds out. It's rated M for adult situations and language.
Oh.
Pleaded, December 5th, 2011.
Ooh.
From the TV show.
What?
Horses.
TV show what?
It was from the TV show Chuck.
Uh-huh. I don't know what that is.
I know of it. Know of it. Action, comedy, romance, film. 5 seasons. Apparently it's not. No. 2017. Alright, well. Even nothing else, so might as well. It was an early morning when Sarah pulled up her Porsche to Casa Bartowiski. Chuck had asked her the night before if she wanted to ride work together since they had both had to leave for the early shift. She decided that she would get to Chuck's a little part of whiskey. Would get to Chuck's a little early so she would have time to have breakfast with him before they'd leave for work. Sarah arrived at the apartment and knocked on the door. When the door opened, Ellie stood there looking up at Sarah. "How are you this morning, Sarah?" "I'm doing good. How about you?" Ellie looked at Sarah and smiled. "I just got back home from work. I'm doing better now," she said. "I bet," Sarah said. "Chuck and I are going to ride together for work today, and I thought we could have breakfast before we left, so I came a little early," Sarah told Ellie. Well, good. I'm glad to hear you guys are
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just
getting some time
Trying-
together, even if you're riding to work. You said never mind you, so I didn't.
yeah.
Sarah, you are welcome to wait in the living room, or if you prefer, you can wait in Chuck's room until he gets done in the shower, she said. "I'll just wait in his room, not a problem." Sarah had just walked past the bathroom and could hear Chuck singing as she went by. It brought a smile to her face. Oh. And she thought he had an amazing voice, and was surprised again that Chuck never ceased to amaze her when she least expected it. When she entered the room, it brought a smile to her face because she could see all the stuff from the Tron poster, the stack of Xbox and DVDs that it was just so Chuck. He was definitely nerdy, but she wouldn't change a single thing about it. She looked at the chair and the bed and decided to sit on the bed and wait for Chuck to shower. As Sarah was leaning back against the headboard, she thought and thought of Chuck. Thoughts of Chuck were running through her head. Fuck. He walked into the bedroom. As Chuck entered, the towel draped over his head, one around his waist, never noticed Sarah sitting on the bed. He walked to his dresser and pulled out some clothing items as he decided to wear. He turned on the radio and started humming, swaying his hips. Sarah was doing her best not to laugh. And then she decided she wasn't going to say anything and just wanted to watch a little show that was put. The next thing that happened would be forever burned into Sarah Walker's mind. Because as Chuck turned around to the side, dropped his towel, Sarah tried not to look, but when she did, all she could see was the biggest cock she had ever seen in her life.
Of course.
It was at least 10 to 12 inches long, and it was at least as thick as her wrist. She had never seen a cock that massive, and wondered how in the hell she had never noticed it with Chuck. Wow. Wow. I wanna fucking die.
Good.
She had been with some men in the past that were well endowed. In fact, she had been with a... doesn't let me highlight. With a mark that had a very large cock. She ended up having one of the strongest orgasms she had ever had with him. She remembered the feeling she had had. He had completely filled her pussy with his large cock, and it was something she had never forgotten and had not experienced since. Bryce was a very good lover, but he was quite average in the penis department, and compared to what she was looking at with Chuck, Bryce was tiny. Sarah could feel the heat generating from within her depths. She knew she was getting wet just sitting there thinking of what it could have felt like to have Chuck slide that massive, beautiful cock way into her pussy. Way up there. Sarah knew that she could be stretched beyond belief by Chuck's cock. She did not care when. She had to have him. She was so enthralled by the sight before her that she never noticed that Chuck had removed the towel from his head and suddenly noticed Sarah sitting on his bed. Chuck decided in that exact moment that if he was ever going to be with Sarah, that his chance had come. He looked up to her and said, "Morning, Sarah." Turned and walked over to the side of the bed. He just stood there, half a foot away from one very turned on Sarah Walker. I swear, if they start fucking right now, he's still wet. That's fucking.
Bread says, so when did Joey Domino get a fursona? Joey Domino's always been a furry. Bread.
Joey Domino is a stand.
Yeah.
That's,
No, you're
that's-
thinking of Jose Domino.
Oh, Jose Domino's the stand.
Yeah.
Stando. Jose Domino.
That's a bad drawing.
My stand is the Goblin King.
Good.
It's my coworker.
Mm.
Removes towel. Good morning. He then turned, walked over to the bed, stood there just about half a foot away from one very turned on Sarah Walker. He looked into Sarah's eyes. He could see the lust in them, and he thought he had almost saw what appeared to be a look of predator in them. He swore he could smell how turned on Sarah was, and knew as in N-E-W, and knew
Good.
that her pussy had been soaked. As he stood there, Sarah got up to her knees, faced him. Chuck, I have to put my feelings on hold for you the last time. I want you so bad. You have no idea. In fact, it's not so much that I want you, it's just that I need you. I need you. Sarah knew, with an N, begin, that she loved Chuck. She just never let Chuck know. She just never let Chuck now. But that was about to change today in a big way. Sarah got on her knees and made her way off to the edge of the bed where Chuck was standing. She looked into her eyes. She could see love and lust at the same time, and knew that she was about to do something she had held back since she had met. She was going to let herself go and let whatever was going to happen, and not worry about the after effects and what it might have on their lives. Sarah's heart was beating at a rapid pace. She was trembling as she placed her hands on each side of his face, then attacked his lips with her mouth and tongue. She ran her tongue across the bottom of his lips. Chuck opened his lips to accept her into his mouth. Sarah couldn't believe how turned on she was at the moment in time. She could not say that no one had ever gotten going. Chuck, you were right. I'm so uninvested.
Yeah, I don't effing know who the characters are.
Yeah.
God, bro, we.
I can only get the. I got a tap.
What did your co-host ever read? Wait, did your co-host ever read the Frogman JoJo's bootleg? That's a good point. Jor, you have not read Bread's amazing Frogman JoJo thing. Link me to that. JoJo. Wait, what the F is this? Christmas song Dirty. I'm not gonna play that. It's naughty.
Okay, so, Billy, allow me to talk to you about one of my favorite fucking stupid things in JoJo, because there's a lot of fucking stupid things. So, there are currently 8 parts. After part 6, the writer realized that, I'm sure he planned it out, but I'm not going to address it like that.
Oh, there's 8 parts of the manga. Isn't there only like 5 or 6 parts of the animated series?
They're basically doing 5 right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 8 parts, but basically by part 6, I'm sure it was slightly planned, but the writer's not very good. A lot of plot holes. A lot of... But I guess he wrote himself into such a corner that he had to have the gay priest just reset the world because he wasn't going to accept losing. So
Good.
And by that I mean he basically rebirthed the universe and spit it out at some point. So that's how we got to Steel Ball Run, which is basically let's ride horses and steal balls. However, the main villain of Steel Ball Run was United States President Funny Valentine. Name is Funny Valentine, and he looks really gay. Goldilocks. Looks like a really buff Goldilocks.
Nice.
And that, as almost everything JoJo, it's based off a song by Valentine. However, his ability, or stando, is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, or D4C, which is based on the AC/DC song. However, the English localization can't do that. They can't have like on the original names because then you get to copyright issues. So you know what his English name is?
What?
They refer to him as D4C, or Filthy Acts at a Reasonable Price.
Good.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap sounds like a criminal organization. Filthy Acts at a Reasonable Price sounds like a cheap brothel. Oh, man, what the fuck is JoJo?
Alright, Jor, you ready to read the entire Frogman the Animated Series Distant Sun Powder Holy Fighters episodes? Also, Bread says part 7 is best part.
Part 7's alright. Part 7 is pretty alright.
Oh.
Allow me to start this JoJo reading with one of my favorite quotes from not my favorite part. I'm gonna fix that spaghetti. Quite literally what happens. Spaghetti gets punched and then fixed. Frogman the Animated Series, Distant Sun Powder, Holy Fighters episodes. Episode 1. In the Tadpoles and Stripper Poles Hospital, the Frog family is being held in the ICU, all except Frogman, who mysteriously did not come down with the queer illness everyone else had acquired. This includes, ironically, Wise Frog, the queerest bunch, whom had ordered Frob to accompany him in his final moments on Earth. Frogman, I have been gay for a long time. Please hear my final words. Wise Frog choked out, more fiercely than Frogman had ever been choking a chick, dying man. My family, your family, has been cursed by a long-lost relative. This curse is how your whore of a mother died. This curse, however, has a double-edged sword. While it can kill the weaker of us, it grants us incredible abilities. Probst glared at the daggeriest. Frob glares the daggeriest of daggers at Wise Frog in an attempt to silence his nonsense. Frob, have you ever felt it? Something standing by you, no matter what. Wise Frob continued, ignoring said daggers as Frob rolled a 16 against an AC of 19. I'll be back in a second.
Ooh. Ugh.
I hate Crown Royal, but down the hatch.
Rip.
Ugh, fucking horrible. Frob surrenders his futile, figurative attacks, continues to listen to the dying words of Madman, and decides to cut the tension with a response for the humorous variety. The last person I was expecting the Jesus talk from, you. Wise Frog chuckled, but it was not out of acknowledgement of him rolling critical against it. I guess it's best to just show you, Wise Frog said, as suddenly a large, muscular man in a rainbow morph suit appears floating beside Wise Frog. The sudden new guest shocks Frob to the point where he falls back in shock. Really? Wise Frog coughs blood and smiles. Based on your shock, then you can see them too. This is my bond.
Green no Kante.
Bonds are powerful beings created by our subconscious, by our deepest thoughts, each one having a unique power based on the user's way of thinking. Wise Frog's breaths begin to be more shallow as
Green no Kante.
becomes less and less opaque. My bond's specific ability is to turn anyone it touches gay while I'm within 5 meters of them. The closer I am, the gayer they become. So is that like just a side effect of JoJo stands in general? Frogman begins to recover from his shock and calls out to Wise Frog. Why are you telling me this? Wise Frog takes an especially shallow breath and begins to loosen his neck. Well,
Green no Kante.
disappears. Because it is this curse that has taken me. It is this curse that is going to take the rest of us. Unless you, the strongest of us, masters the power of the
Mondo.
hunt down the long-lost ancient evil and put a stop to it. Wise Frog lets out his final cackle as the light fades from his eyes. Frog jumps to him, begins to shake him. Old man, don't go yet. I don't even know the name of the person I'm hunting, nor their power, nor how to even use a
Mondo.
Suddenly, Wise Frog shot up from bed, slamming Frog with the force of a raged barbarian going at it full force. Oh yeah, those are vital to this, Wise Frog says as he fixes his gaze towards an embedded Frog and the floating 20 muscular sided tie with arms that is flexing near him. You were a piece of shit for faking your own death like that, old man, to which Wise Frog laughs and retorts, my spawnling, I had no part in my resurrection. Look beside you. Frog then twists his fractured neck, face the muscular D20, his
Mondo.
which clearly reads 20 in italic Comic Sans font. Your Bondo clearly has powers to reroll fate at complete random, creating a better or worse effect depending on the number.
Alright, Jor, quickly, Chris returned and said, hey, brother, going to bed, but I hope he decapitated Johnny Test. He's a degenerate. So yeah, you say that, Chris, but you don't effing comment on how Joey Domino is literally being touched by Turkey Tom. He's being pushed even. He gets a smear, look at that.
I'm taking more drink.
Taking more drink before you continue to read I don't know.
A 20 out of 20 resulting in the best outcome, or in this case, my resurrection. More like worst outcome, probable under his breath. With muscular 20 turned to him, and then turned to Wise Frog, who then fucking exploded.
Good.
Episode 2. I sure am hungry. What do you say we get something to eat?
The Christopher Tom experience.
The frog asked to his bondo, which he had out in public. Suddenly, a voice cut through the crowd. You're the last standing member of the frog family. Frog tried to trace the voice to its source, where it stood, but it seemed to come from everywhere. Terrified of his assumed foe. Frog then sickened. Okay, so the stand is. Frog then sicked.
The Christopher Tom experience.
I'm just gonna refer to that as the CTE.
Yeah.
On literally everyone around him. The CTE then fell to the ground and suddenly displayed a 20. As suddenly the sky was eclipsed by a burning rock that was on the verge of crashing down on the city. Frob fell into a manhole. From the shit-covered sewers, Frob heard a voice. Silly manling, my bundle makes me immune to meteors. To which Frob responded, that's really specific. As the meteor made impact, killing almost everyone on the planet. Post note on this episode: the attacker's
Bondo.
is called
The sweet little lies.
What is Sweet Little Lies a reference to?
I don't know.
I'm gonna just paste it Google, and if I get a song, I get a song. I got a book, and I got Fleetwood Mac's Little Lies. Sweet Little Lies, Fleetwood Mac, yeah.
There you go. Fred, you clever cuck.
Gonna be just referred to as Little Lies. Because this is the... And it has the power to make lies become a reality if the person user is attacking believes them, in which case Frogman did because of the bullshit nature of Bondo, which means Frog for the most part had no chance. Episode 3. I'm so glad we were able to solve our differences and become great friends after the media killed almost everyone on the planet, Crown said, as he bites between the bites of his sub that him and Frob had purchased at their local subway, which had survived the meteor impact unscratched as opposed to everything around it. Which meteor? All except the local subway. Eat fresh, Frob responded, before taking a bite out of his delicious meatball marinara sub for the low price of $5.99 tax. My local subway does a $5 footlong still. What most people don't realize is $5 footlong has not been a promo since like 2011.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting.
So how close are you to finding Wise Frog? You know, that dude that cursed your family before you killed everyone, Crownman said, as he projected his
Bondo.
to feel the soft, crisp bread that popped the subway sub. What? Screamed Frob out as he was so shocked he accidentally, because not even in the most mentally insane would, spat out a chunk of his crisp, delicious, decadent ice sub. Oh yeah, Crownman took a sip of his fresh value chocolate milk made from non-GMO cows. Made from non. He's the dude that bought this ring off my dad, and when you put the ring on, you and all those in your bloodline, younger than you, obtain a
Bondo.
or die horribly. Crownman took his final
I can't believe Toady and Terrible Toad are, well, and Tongue Frog and everyone else, I guess, are dead. Oh no. See, the interesting thing though is Toadie's technically more powerful than Frogman, but this.
Well, the ring killed the ring is powerful than all of them because.
Well, yeah, but like it's the weaker ones that die. Frogman survived, so clearly he was the most strongest.
No, it's younger.
Yeah, everyone younger than Wise Frog gets a bond, but then the bond's power kills the weaker ones or something like that. I don't know. Clear that up, Red.
Well, you know, maybe. Here's the thing. Maybe Toadie's like more physically capable, but it's a mental.
Bondo.
Maybe.
I mean, Toadie would be more mentally strong too.
I mean, you know, after the end of Pollywogs, who knows? At least you're.
That's a good point.
Yeah. His subconscious is probably shattered and he couldn't control his
Bondo.
I'm sticking with it. You obtain a Bondo or die horribly, as he took a final sorry drop from the fresh value chocolate. He had let out a single tear after doing so, but not out of sorrow because the milk had made him so happy. It's kind of like how if you dump something into a river, it floats downstream.
You know what, Bread? I might just do this as a comic one day, maybe. Yeah, why not? Let's make an adaptation. Animating it might be a bit much, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe a motion comic would be cool.
A manga. He continued for being approached by the bearded subway employee. Frob looked up to see the man clearing the tables, realizing it was none other than Wise Frog.
Wise Frog. the actual fuck is this all about? Thought you died twice.
Frog's interrogation landed on deaf ears as Wise Frog just began screaming. Foolish Frob! You thought my bond had only one power. Behold!
Green cunt.
Finish these pesky peach dwellers. As a free action. Shot. This is a Jordan shot, not a pussy shot.
Ooh.
Drowned Man leaned onto Frob and whispered when Little Eyes appears. Make a roll to break that window and jump out of it. If all goes to plan, I'll meet you outside. Frob then conjured the CTE. Rolled a 1 to shatter the window, resulting in both Frob's fists completely shattering as Little Eyes appeared and Crown Man called out, "Joke's on you. My bundle turns into everything that I see part of a Subway commercial. Eat fresh." Episode 4. Frob was on the floor, wailing in horrifying agony. However, due to Little Eyes still being in effect, all that came out were satisfied reviews of all those who had eaten Subway. Wise Frog stepped back, conjuring
Green cunt.
then went into full force towards Crow Man. I thought it was Crown Man. Probably because I'm drinking Crown Royal.
Oh yeah, it was Chromian, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Crown. Oh. Crown.
Because, Frogman, Crowman. Sorry, Frogman.
Frob Man.
Why is it Frogman, bread? But like Wise Frog, it has the same name.
Yeah.
I want to answer that before I continue. And Billy, I demand to voice one person. You make it emotional.
You can be Crowman, I guess.
Bando.
My buddy and I, we want to do a JoJo fan dub, and
We're gonna do a mix. It's gonna be in English, but it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Jinglish.
Like for example,
I guess English.
one of the characters is very over exaggerating, such as the "Oh my God,
Yeah.
son of the beach."
What
I'm
was
just
his
gonna be
name?
Joseph.
Yeah.
I'm going to be voicing him, and it's basically going to be, "Oh my God, son of a bitch." Oh no.
Good.
The name's Whole Horse.
Oh.
They called me that because one time I ate a whole horse.
Good.
Do we have an answer for bread?
What?
Why Frob and not Frog?
No. Come on, bread. Why is it Frogman?
Anyway, I'll continue. Frog took a step back before. Wise Frog took a step back before conjuring,
Green cunt.
who went full force forward towards Crowman. Crowman dove out of the way and
Green cunt.
made contact with the window, which then turned into a rainbow before morphing into the subway logo. "You can't dodge me forever," Wise Frog said before adding, "and you cannot dodge the fantastic deals at your local subway."
Green cunt.
Then redirected at Crowman, who was still on the floor beside the soda machine.
Green cunt.
Lunged at him before Crowman sent out Little Eyes, pull on the soda lever, pouring down onto Crowman as a thick coat of carbonated sugar water.
Green cunt.
Then released a rapid array of furious blows that struck the soda-covered bird. The layer of soda,
Green cunt.
stuck, then gravitated towards the subway window, property that Crowman noticed while remaining under the torrent of soda. "You weren't joking when you said that
Green cunt.
has multiple abilities. You can choose to make someone gay when you strike them. However, you can also choose to make an object gay, or object into a gay magnet that pulls all homosexuals towards it, to the point except you. Crowman stated that for some reason Wise Frog didn't reply as he was too busy making more Subway subs for the customers that just kept walking in. Crowman realized that this was his chance. He pulled out a Glock he keeps under his dorsal feathers and shot Wise Frog 4 times. Wise Frog took his gaze at the carved turkey sub that he was making and immediately called Inakuntu to him, which punched all 4 of the bullets. Four bullets, the most lucky amount of bullets.
Bread says, "Oh, I actually thought Frob was the proper way it was said / written long ago. I just do it now to see if you notice." What? Wait.
He thought.
Wait.
Hold on. You thought it was wrong, so you did it wrong, and then you just kept on doing it wrong until. Okay. Fair enough.
I'm so confused.
Don't worry. He's pulling a fast one on you.
Pulling my dick.
For you. It carved turkey stub, but he was making and immediately called Green Kuntu, who punched all 4 bullets, which then gravitized him towards the window, shattering it. Crowman, then Dark Souls.
Here.
Oh fuck! Dark Souls World.
2016 commentator
a few
here
times
because I'm.
towards Frogman, who threw out the
2016
window before jumping out
commentator here
himself.
because I.
Another shot.
2016 commentator here because I missed.
Okay.
Wow, I'm sure glad you kids are willing to let me hang out with you after all. I deliberately tried to kill you, Wise Frog said to Frob. Yeah, he really is describing the JoJo episode. Who was barely breathing due to the collapsed ribs and being entirely in shock. You kids sure knew how to have fun. Wise Frog heard it to Crowman, who died from the impact of also jumping out of a 20-story subway. Wise Frog then reclined into the charred soil, and for once in his life realized the consequences of his action. In one misguided attempt to have a little fun, he had killed everyone he had ever loved, everything he could possibly love.
Good.
Star Platinum, the world.
Bread says, yes, this is the first time it was ever acknowledged. You know, that's a good point. I never did acknowledge it. I kind of just assumed that was the character's name.
I'm the winner.
You know, to differentiate it.
Down,
I don't know.
down, another round.
I did notice it, though.
Whiskey.
I noticed it immediately. That's a bad frame. That's a really bad frame.
Billy, I just did a song on stream.
Oh. Wait, was that the last one?
Yeah.
That was it? That's how the series ends?
Yeah. Frog made that.
Oh, yeah. Rip. Well, there you go, Bread. We read the entire series.
Here,
Oh boy, he's gonna draw a picture of Frogman.
Allow me to take one more swig and then sing my favorite drinking song, Lord of the Ring. Extended edition.
Oh no. But sure, what if I get a copyright claim?
Do you want me to look up the
one that was in the book, because that's now public domain?
Yes.
Okay.
Because differences like
Yeah, boy.
ho ho ho, to the bottle I go, to heal my heart and dread my woe. The rain may fall, the wind may blow, but there still be many miles to go. But under a tall tree I will lie, let the clouds go sailing by. Here's my glass, here's my cry.
And soon I'm gonna
Fucking die.
I don't think those are the actual lyrics, sure.
no, that was a little improv based on. I just killed a quarter bottle of Crown Royal. Let me put this
Ooh.
away. Yeah, I straight up chugged.
Had to do all that to get through it, huh?
Well, no, I mean that chug was in that last silence when I was singing.
Hmm. If we don't have anything else to talk about, I should probably end this stream since it's, you know, spoilery. I don't know. Plus, we're kind of not really reading fanfiction anymore. So, you know, it's misleading. I'll keep animating, though. I'll keep animating till I drop.
Alright, Billy, is the stream done?
Yeah, might as well be.
Alright. Well, everyone, hope you had a good time. I did my best. That's okay.
Rip.
I'm sure Billy, some sort of.
Yeah.